This is the ColdFusion Simple Blog, Episode 7. Okay, so we're back again and we're going to look at fixing the edit, fixing the delete, and making a little bit of changes to the add. Let's start by going to the add. So here's the add. First thing I'm going to do, which is not really important, but important to me, secondary. And then I also want to put, there's another tag you can do, btn-sm for small. And then I really need some space between the button and the table below. So we'll say margin bottom 4. Now let's go see how that looks. Okay, so it moved up a little. It's all on its own. The only thing is, I don't know why, but I would prefer it to be on the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do div class equals row. Now, the way I'm doing it is the way I know how to do it. There may be other people that say, oh, you don't have to do that. You can do it another way. Great. Let me know how that is so I'll know, and I'll do it the other way. But for now, this is what I'm going to do. So I want it to be on the far right, so I'm literally going to just leave one column out of the 12 columns that are available, because in Bootstrap you have 12 columns, so that I can actually put it all the way on the right. And then the next thing I want to do, is that the same button? That's not the same button. It tried to help me, but it didn't do a good job. Let's put this up here because we have the, actually, you know what? Let's change this to a div. And then over here, let's say H3. That way the class is, I don't know that that's important, but that's just the way I'm in. So I'm making the class make the header size. And then over here, we want this one to go like this. And then we need another div for the row. I mean, for the for the row. So 1, 1, 1. That's right. And we've already got the div for the ending of this. That's way down at the bottom. So this is close. Text end, I think. I'm not positive on that one because I use Bootstrap for a lot at work. It still moved it to the end. But we want a little bit of padding above because we don't want it touching that nav bar. It doesn't look good. So we can say we want some margin. Padding would be inside the button. Margin's outside the button. Margin top. And you know what? We'll go with 3 and see how that looks. Margin bottom is 4. I'm going to make this one 3. So maybe they'll both be about the same look and feel as far as distance. Maybe I'm wrong. Margin. Oh, I've got an S there. That's part of the problem. So now there's a little space above this, a little space below this, but I need it to be the same space as far as on top. Let's actually change this one that says bottom, and then we can maybe put it down there in the table if it's too close. So users, that looks fine. So now the add's over here, the edit's here, nothing's near the delete except maybe this add, so you don't accidentally hit the wrong one. So we're going to go fix those. So inside of a link, you don't have to make it a button, but the way you can make it a button, let it be in a link, is once again, like we just did. Class, and we say btn button, btn small, btn secondary, and I'm going to copy this because I'm just going to do the same thing for delete. Now there's a couple other things you could do if you really want to make your button red. You could change this to, I think it's error maybe, but I actually like it looking the same color. And as far as 508 goes, I'm not sure it matters if it's a different color because they need to be able to see the word delete. And So I actually like the looks of that. Now, I don't like the looks of this. I want it like add to go to the end. Now, let's go look at that. Okay, so what we can do is inside of here, class, text end, meaning go to the end, which would be to the right for us that have left to right as our language. It would be the other way around. Well, it didn't do it. Let me think. Maybe because I'm inside and it's only moving the delete word to the end, which you wouldn't even notice. So in here, we want to say class, and we want to say text end, and let's go see what happens with that. Hit refresh. Ah, that worked. Only thing is now we need to do the exact same thing to our label. So let's copy this. I probably could have typed it just as quickly, but I already copied it now. So go back, hit refresh, and now you can see we got the label and add, edit, and delete. So now we need to basically take and make it where when you click edit, it shows us the exact same thing as the add. So if you've already created the add, then you can create the edit pretty easily because you've already got a form that has all your fields in it. So you can just go here, select all, copy, go to edit, select all, select all, and paste. Then we want to go through and fix several things. First, we want to change it to edit. We want to make sure we change this because sometimes when I forget to and then it inserts a new item, I realize, oops, I forgot to change it to update. All of these are okay. We will get the data and put them in it in just a second. We want to come down here and we want to say update. Now, you don't have to have the word user here, and in add, you don't have to have the word user here. So I'll show you what I mean and maybe explain here in a minute. Let's go back here. We'll click on add. See, it says add, and it's the primary. So let's switch all of these to secondary. I'm going to make all of these secondary. Copy the word secondary. We'll go to edit, and we'll click right here. Paste. Okay, so now when we hit refresh, we see add. Now it's defaulting to fill those in because it thinks it's trying to use that for the login and password. So if we click edit, we've almost got it. We only need to set up a query and set up the output. So it puts the data from that user inside of these fields. So what do we need inside of edit? We need a query. So the first query we need to do, we need to go over here and look. Here's a user's query, which is almost what we want, but not exactly. So we're going to create a new one, and we're going to call it query user. Now, sometimes I've done it where I just typed it user.cfm, which there's only one user, so it should get the one user. Or you can say user by ID. And then what I do is I paste this in, and it's user by ID. So now this matches. And then I'm going to be passing in a URL, an ID in the URL. So you want to do CF query param that helps verify that this is just an integer. There is no extra JavaScript added to the ID in the end. Once you've done that, we want to do CF location. CF location. Hold on, let me do that. And we go to index.cfm, which will put us back and give us the list of users that we've added. We want to do add token. Recently I found that it defaults to no, but when you do a little more research, it does default to no if your server's set to a particular security setting. Because I tested it and found there's times I was getting that token. If you are new to ColdFusion or you've been around a little while and you haven't seen a token, it's a variable that shows up on the end of the URL when you're doing a CF location, that is the CF ID and CF token that the server uses to maintain your session. You do not really want that to be displayed, in my opinion, ever. So I just never, I go out of my way to find ways to make code work. Oops. Okay, got it saved. So now we've got this ready to go. I will actually copy this, and I probably don't need to copy it now that I think about it. But we go here to the edit, and we say we're going to CF include template, and then we want to do ... dash and look and see, and that's not where the queries are. The queries are actually another level up. ... dash. I see queries. That's my queries that I've put in this simple app. There's the one we're wanting. And now we can do quote, and now we've got this in here. So now what we can do is to verify that it's in here and has the data we want. We could do a CF dump. If a lot of times I will do a CF dump even when I really don't need to. I kind of know the data is going to show up. I'm pretty positive, but I'm in dark mode, so I probably, let's see here, edit. Hold on. Edit. Oh, yeah, that's funny. I got in such a hurry. I put it at the end of the query. Wrong. But I am going to go here, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to go here, and see, here it is again. I'm going to go here and paste it, and then that way we at least have it somewhere. So let's go back. That's funny. Okay. Now I click edit. Here's the dump. We can see the one person that we've clicked on and all the information. First underscore name, last underscore name, and all of that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to edit. We're going to do a CF output. And I don't like this. It's kind of driving me nuts because I do not like having 4 spaces over. I'm going to be crazy and just do a bunch of that. Okay, so now it's almost right. And then I'll move this over 2 spaces, and let's see here. That's inside a div, 2 spaces. The form, 2 spaces. And then the next stuff's already moved over. There we go. See, I've already fixed it. I like that better. It looks nicer and cleaner to me, personally. Now, you could do Alt-Z. Is it Z, I think? Not that. Well, we'll figure it out in a minute. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here. I'm going to say CF. Whoops. CF output. But what we want to do is take this query here that we're outputting in the dump, which we do not need, and go here, query equals that query. Now, I'm going to move all of this over 1 space so that everything can line up. I never thought I would be that picky when I first started coding, but that's the way I am now after years. Anything like this makes it easier to read. That's extremely important when you're going to update any application, because 70 to 80% of the lifespan of an application is going to be in update mode. You're going to build it the first time. They'll have you add things to it, and they'll have you fix things, and they'll have you update it for years and years to come until they finally say, let's build a new one. So we're going to say value equals, and I'm going to copy this, copy, and then I'm going to say first name, and then I can come right here, paste, last name, come down here to email, paste that, and we will say email. And for now, I guess it doesn't matter if you see the password. Of course, I've got it set to type password, so we're still okay. Even though you probably saw it earlier when I did the dump, it was really just password for password. For this particular coding lesson. I don't recommend you ever do a simple password. So now you can see it's filled in all these forms. Now I really don't like the layout of this. We'll fix it at some point. Right now we just really want to see what happens when we hit the update button. We're gonna go to the act update. So let's go to act update. We do not want it to relocate. So what I would do is CF abort. And I'm not going to show an error. I'm just doing it so that I can do a CF dump of the form. So now when I get there, I will see all the things that are in the form. There's one thing we're missing, and I can already tell you what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Instead of doing the dump and all that, I could do it, let you see that something's missing. But what I'm going to do is say, when you're in edit, unlike add, you don't know what the ID is for the item you're going to be doing. So in edit, however, you do know. And oh, I just noticed this one needs to go over one. There we go. So here, this one is the one we were missing. It's a hidden field that passes the ID. And so when you go to an update, you're not getting it in the URL. You're getting it in the form. So let's go back here, hit refresh. And we'll change this Jim to James Bond. And I'll go ahead and change this too, might as well. J Bond at, I don't know, test.com. I'll leave it at that. I can't be creative right now when I'm busy working. So here we get here, and we can see now, close. We don't need that. We don't need you. Go away. So here we are. We can see James Bond. We can see the password is password. We can see it's the first record. We got the email, Bond, J Bond. So what we want to do now is I'm going to set an insert query here, CF query. Now remember what I'm doing. I know I tell you this in several of the videos. This is old school. This is not the way everybody does it nowadays. But this is the way you used to do it. And when you first start, you probably should do it this way just to get yourself kind of familiar. You take and you insert into users. No, this is not what we wanted. We want to update. And I messed up. I called this insert. I called it insert. So let's say update. And then we will say update users. And we want all this same, oops, it looked like it was going to give it to me. So if it's going to help me and give it to me, let's get rid of this. So I will say update. Ah, awesome. And it looks like it's correct. So if you were passing in something, I think I said this in another video, that had an integer, it would change this varchar to integer, kind of like this here. So now we've got the query, we've got it inserted. Well, that sounds great and dandy. What if this fails? Well, we could do a CF try catch, and we probably should. But this is for beginners, so we're going to skip that. We're going to assume, since it's our local database, local machine, we have nothing to worry about. The database is not going to be down because we're the ones running it. So here we go. We're going to run this and see what happens. So if I go back here and I hit refresh and it says, do you want to resubmit the form you submitted earlier? And I say, yes, I do. And now it's James Bond. So I can say, well, I really did have a Jim sample 01, and we'll call this jsample at test.com. And we'll give him a different password. We'll do the fun thing of password 123. That seems like that's a popular password years ago. One of the most popular ones out there. So no one should ever use that one. But anyway, here we go. And I'm going to get rid of these fake data so I can click edit now. And I can say, let's change the name on the front of these to J. Russell. And hit update, and then we can click this one and do the same kind of thing. We'll take the LSCH Schneider and we will update. So now we have all of these where we can add and we can edit. Well, we kind of want to be able to delete as well. So let's create a brand new one. So this one is our add test in add at add.com. Add test, who cares what, because we're going to end up deleting it. So we hit add, so that's this one down here. So we can add now, and we can change this to update. So now we have the add one where we've updated it. Now we need to be able to delete it. Once again, for us beginners, this is not a hard task. What I suggest you do is you copy this query, paste it right above this one. The only difference now is we want to delete. So we can delete all that. We already know what the ID that's going to be passed in. There's one difference that it's easy to forget when you're playing around and you're in a hurry. That one's going to be coming URL this time. So we want to delete from users. So we want to delete from users where the ID is coming in from our delete button. And if you look down the bottom, it says ID 3. That one says ID 2. That one says ID 1. So we're going to delete this one that we created here, which is ID 6. So it looks like it's actually ready to go. I'll click this, watch where update is. It's gone. So now we can add, we can edit, and we can delete. So we are able to do this for users. I hope that's been good. I know we're not done with the blog yet. We just got where we got to users, and we are going to create a user the next time and start trying to work on posts. We want to be able to have a post, submit it. Once we get posts, then we can put the post in and display them. Now, one thing I am going to change right before we go is I'll go back to the list, the query. We don't just want to query users. We want to order by last name, comma, first name. That way, if we have a bunch of users, so you've got Bond, KRS. Let's see how this changes. I have a feeling it's not. It changed very little. So let's create Amy Roberts. Amy R at test.com. We'll switch that around a little. And I'll just hit a bunch of keys. Add. So now we have Amy Roberts, okay, but I really would like her to show up at the top, so let's give her a different last name, Anderson, so she should be up near the top, if not first. So she's first, because the next one was James Bond. So there you go. That's this session. I'll try to work on another session, maybe as soon as tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be getting really close to being able to finish this by adding a blog post, logging in as maybe not necessarily logging in as somebody. We'll start off where you're not logged in. You're just automatically assumed you're either James Bond, or we'll pick one of these and you'll be that person, and we'll just do that. And then we'll work on getting a login and making it where you have to have a login to see the admin button. So it could be several more lessons, but hopefully we'll get a post up. And once we get a post in the database, then we can work on getting a post displayed. So if you like what I'm doing, please take time to subscribe, hit the bell so you'll know when I'm submitting another video. When I get enough subscribers, I will start doing some live stuff. And I don't mind someday when I'm doing live stuff if you want to ask questions and give me some issues and some problems, and maybe we give me some of your code and I can work on your code and help you solve your problems. My goal is to help others because I don't have a college degree. I learned this the hard way. Many years ago, I moved into programming, and I moved up through the ladder many times. And so I've been doing this since 1996. And before that, I was doing computers. And I actually took in high school 2 years of computer courses. Not fancy ones, just basic, GW Basic, the old stuff. And the second year was Advanced Basic and Pascal. One of these days, I'll make a video describing all the interesting things that happened to me. If you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see I've been through a lot of different jobs over the years. And I've learned a lot from different places and different people. Well, you have a good weekend. And for those that are watching it right after it's uploaded, and let me know if you have any questions or things you want me to work on building for you to help you. I don't mind when I build something like this if you're able to get it. I can't remember if I've already posted this on GitHub. If I haven't, I will. If I have, then I'll make sure it's public at some point. I want to wait, if I haven't already made it public, I want to wait till it's totally complete. That way you won't download it half broken and then have to keep updating it. So thank you for listening, and hopefully you enjoy what I'm doing, because I'm trying to help people. Thank you.